Welcome back to another training session for OpenDSS-G, in this case version 5. What we're going to talk about today are some of the changes we have been implementing on the interface, particularly on the configuration menu. So for that, I'm going to proceed and open the configuration menu that we have these days. So comparing the current version with the one we used to have before, nowadays, this version, all the options that come along with OpenDSS. These are the options that you can edit by using the command set and get. One of the most interesting parts is that these are presented as a tree, classified by the type of change that they apply over the whole environment. So if you're not sure about what this property does, just right click over it and select from the pop-up menu, what is this? And it will bring you the help so you can know what that property is about. For editing this property or the property you're interested into, just double click on it and a box is going to show up. It could be a list, could be a numeric control, could be a text, etc. Once you make a selection, like for example, right now I changed the simulation mode, the whole environment is going to be refreshed around OpenDSS. And you're going to see those changes reflected at the configuration menu. So depending on what you want to do, you have different sections. So we have global variables, we have global references, we have model settings, etc. If you want to look for a specific property that you know because you've been using OpenDSS in the past, or you want to look for a command or option that you've seen on the user manual, you just select Find from the pop-up menu when right-clicking on the tree, and then just select the one you want to go to. For example, we can see that the voltage limits are in their own section. So let's suppose I want to change the normal voltage max per unit, which will alter what's the maximum voltage allowed for reporting voltage violations during simulation. Then the menu automatically is going to take us there, highlighting the option that I'm looking for. And from there, I can just change the values at will. Now, there's one thing that is for sure, and is that there are a lot of parameters here. Like for example, here in system reports, when you want to enable DI reports, if you enable them, that will enable all the different DI reports that we have. Of course, if you want to disable some of them independently, you can. But you can alter so many different variables that if you bring again the simulation model and you want to bring this configuration setup alive, you may have to go through everything one by one and do the changes manually. However, we have a little solution for that. Among the options that you can find within the pop-up menu that we're providing with the new configuration menu, you can also save this configuration into a file. How can you do it? We're going to show that later on in this video. Right now, what I want to display is how can we move into other platforms or other programs the content that we have in the configuration menu. For example, let's suppose I want to copy this value and bring it into Notepad, for example. Just copy the value and then Control V, it will bring everything. Now, if I want to bring all the different configuration values that I have set up, I can just copy them, and just by pasting on Microsoft Word or, well, Notepad, you will just export them. Now, as I was mentioning before, you can export this setup into a configuration file. You can save it within your model. That way, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to recompile the models. That will reset the whole setup of the system. So I open the configuration menu and I can see everything is just by default. For example, the voltage limits and etc. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the configuration file we just saved, and voila, the whole environment is going to be refreshed to reflect the changes introduced by this configuration file. And with that, I don't have to start setting up everything one by one, but just bringing in the configuration file that I saved previously. Now there are other features that just remain as in the past, like for example, changing the environment variables. You can change the background color, the lines color. We can bring it back to its normal values. We can change the blink color. We can change the colors for the switches when during the simulation. Like for example, here we're showing that we change the blink color to to magenta. If we select another bus across the system, the one we're displaying right now is the 123 bus node test system. And yeah, we can change that color. Right now it's magenta, but if in real time I change that color to green, change will apply immediately. The idea is to bring all the different configuration options that OpenDSS offers into OpenDSS-G.